Most people think traveling the world for a year costs a fortune. But after researching flights, hotels, food, and transportation, the real number surprised me. In this video, we'll break down the real cost of traveling the world for 1 year, including flights, accommodation, food, transportation, insurance, and the cheapest regions for budget travelers. Flights are usually the biggest expense when traveling long-term. But the good news is, slow travel can save thousands of dollars. Instead of constantly flying between countries, many experienced travelers stay longer in each destination and use budget airlines or buses for regional travel. Popular airlines for cheap global travel: Ryanair, EasyJet, AirAsia, Scoot, to name a few. For a full year of travel, many budget travelers spend somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000 on flights. However, some airlines offer programs that can help travelers get more value from their journey. For example, some travelers can even explore an additional destination during a layover, reducing the need for a separate trip later. One overlooked way to stretch a travel budget is by taking advantage of airline stopover programs. Some airlines allow travelers to explore an extra city during a long layover, and in certain cases even provide hotel accommodations or guided tours. Accommodation can be surprisingly affordable depending on where you travel. In Southeast Asia, private rooms can cost less than $20 a night. Hostels are even cheaper, especially for solo travelers. Many long-term travelers also use monthly Airbnb discounts or budget guest houses to reduce costs even further. A small apartment in Thailand or Vietnam can sometimes cost less than a single week of rent in major Canadian cities. Food is one of the best parts of traveling, and in many countries, it's incredibly affordable. Street food in places like Thailand, Vietnam, and Turkey can cost just a few dollars while still tasting amazing. Eating local food instead of tourist restaurants can dramatically reduce your daily budget. In some cities, travelers spend less on food for an entire day than a single coffee in Canada. Transportation costs also vary depending on your travel style. Budget travelers often use trains, overnight buses, scooters, or public transit instead of taxis and expensive flights. In many countries, transportation is much cheaper than in North America. One of the easiest ways to reduce transportation costs is by traveling overland between neighboring countries. Instead of booking multiple flights, many travelers use buses, trains, or ferries to cross borders. In Southeast Asia, it's possible to travel from Thailand to Malaysia and then on to Singapore using a combination of trains and buses. Not only can this save money, but the journey itself becomes part of the travel experience. In Europe, budget travelers often move between countries using buses and trains instead of flights. Routes such as Prague to Vienna, Budapest to Bratislava, or Berlin to Warsaw can be both affordable and convenient. Some regions of the world are especially affordable for long-term travel. Southeast Asia remains one of the cheapest places for budget travelers, with low food and accommodation costs. Parts of Eastern Europe and the Balkans also offer incredible value while still feeling safe and modern. In South America, countries like Bolivia and Colombia can also stretch your travel budget much further. So, how much does it really cost to travel the world for 1 year? For budget travelers, a realistic range is often between $15,000 and $25,000 per year depending on destinations and travel style. That includes flights, accommodation, food, transportation, insurance, and everyday expenses. Slow travel, local food, and budget accommodation can dramatically reduce costs even further. And in some cases, traveling full-time can actually cost less than living in major cities in Canada or the United States. The biggest surprise about world travel isn't how expensive it is. It's realizing that for many people, it may be more affordable than they ever imagined. Maybe the biggest obstacle isn't money. Maybe it's finally deciding to go.